about 3 weeks later, that's when my wife was telling you guys earlier about it, started slurring her speech, and I took her to the hospital, and she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called myasthenia gravis, and it affects it, like attacks your immune system from your shoulders up. So if it, at its worst, she can't talk, she can't hold her own head up, can't keep her eyes open, can't sit up, and that she ended up getting her thymus taken out, which is, just shy of open heart surgery in my opinion. And then she went into what's called a myasthenic crisis, where she crashed after that, and she was on a ventilator. She had a PICC line, 4 IVs, had a main line in her neck. And then before the ventilator, though, we were in there in the hospital because I lived with her in the ICU for 3 months, and I would only go home just to basically, grab new clothes.
3 months.
Yeah, I lived with her in the ICU for 3 months, and this was, it was not even a year ago that this happened.
Was she induced coma?
When she flatlined, yes, that's when they put her on a ventilator. So there was one night that we were in there. She's post-surgery in the ICU, and I was getting her ready for bed. I had the suction in her mouth, and I was getting ready to like brush her teeth with like the little wisp or whatever. But she can't talk, right? And she's had a BiPAP machine on, trying to force air.
Yeah.
And then she just was like looking at me, and eyes rolled in the back of her head, and she stopped breathing. And the fucking machine flatlined, so I started doing CPR on her. But as I put my hands on her chest, realized, holy shit, her sternum is still healing from the surgery, so I can't do it because I'll kill her. So I was like, nurse. So the nurse comes running in. I grab the bag valve mask off the wall, right? And it's sitting in a bag, but I put it together. Like, she's literally dying. Can't breathe, and I fucking assembled the mask, plugged it into the wall, fired the O2 up, put it on her. And the nurse was holding it as I started squeezing it, and the code blue alarm went off, and then there was like 30 people that rushed in there, and they took over from there, and then they put her in a coma, and then put her on a ventilator, and that's what saved her life. So that is my never quit. I've never been through anything like that. Nothing. I thought. Buds,
Haitian
Marine
prison.
Corps, combat, Haitian prison. Nothing prepared me. Seeing my thriving wife, living life normal, to then being 90 pounds. Almost dying, being on a ventilator. It was crazy. Absolutely insane. And she's made a full recovery, except she still has a disease. But, we're working through that, and hopefully in a year or two, maybe it might start to go in remission. But, yeah.
That's wild.
Keep praying, yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember when
and you guys wanted to talk about matching knives.
What was the name of the disease again?
Myasthenia gravis. And they call it the snowflake. The symbol of it's a snowflake because each person's symptoms and how it attacks the body is different.
Were there any lasting effects from her flatlining that day?
No.
Wow.
No. And it's hereditary. Because
it's not hereditary. It's an individual thing. Yeah. And the only reason we even knew that happened is because she started slurring her speech.
Yeah.
And that's when I took her to the doctor and found out what she had and took it from there.
Man.
It's been nuts.
Yeah. Man.
That's a bit. You feel helpless, right? When your wife's hurting, man, you're standing there, you can't do nothing. It's kind of like that's the
that
worst.
was really, really difficult for me.
This is the Team Never Quit Podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.